Всем привет! So this video is about connecting the letters in cursive. So you need to know how to write each letter in cursive. And I would say students who struggle with cursive writing the most all basically make mistakes when they connect the letters, because usually they don't make mistakes in writing the letters. It's the connections that look wrong. And this is a very systematic video that goes step by step explaining the connections based on where the letter ends and where it starts. And I hope it's going to be useful. Once again, it's a long video, but I think it will be worth it if you're really interested in learning Russian cursive. And as all my tutorials and videos, it's better to treat it as a lesson. So set aside some time and just really go through it. Okay, начинаем. Let's start. So here is my system of how I explain connecting letters in Russian cursive. For that, we will need where the letter starts, and we'll have 4 different kind of like types of where the letter starts, and we'll have 2 groups that differ in where the letter ends, because to connect the letter, we need to know where one ends and another one starts. Okay, let's take a look at the first start group that I call S1. And if we kind of like basically say that that is our letter, so this letter, or like letters in this group, will start right here. So here are the letters that we have here. E, A, N, P, R, T, U, C, Ч, Ш, Щ, У. Мягкий знак, soft sign, and the letter U. So as you can see, I was adding the dots. Of course, when we're just writing the letters, we don't need these dots, but I was showing you where the letter started. So the next type, start type 2. So if again, that's our schematic letter, it will start kind of like about right here. Yeah, so it's not exactly the middle, just like a little bit above the middle. Okay, let's take a look at the letters that we have here. V, G, Е, Ж, З, Х. Твердый знак and the letter E. So the third type that I call S3 is letters, has letters that start kind of like similar to this one, but at the bottom, so below the middle. And here we only have 3 letters: L, M, and Y. So then finally, the last group 4, start 4, is when we start the letter kind of like in a similar spot as 2, but on the other side. So right here. So in here we have 6 letters: A, B, D, O, S, and the letter F. As you can see, all of these letters are lowercase letter. It's because when we are connecting, one letter to another one that starts here, we always connect it to a lowercase letter. Okay, now let's take a look at where the letters end. And here I basically loosely divided it into two categories. First one is pretty straightforward. Second one is going to be somewhat of an approximation because some letters will end at a different spot, but we will still connect them the same way when we're connecting them to letters in the start group. Okay, let's take a look. So in the first group, we will have letters that end right about here. So let's take a look at what letters we have here. We have both capital and lowercase a letters. We have the lowercase g, lowercase d, both capital and lowercase y, and of course yo would fall into this category too. Both letters J, capital and lowercase z, both capital and lowercase e, and of course и краткая will fall into the same category. Both letters K, capital and lowercase, L. Oh, sorry, I marked the beginning here, but all we care about is where it ends right now. L, both M's, both N's, both P letters, and as you can see, P ends right here, but what we really care about is where it ends before we start connecting it, and that's going to be this little spot right here. So the lowercase p too. Only lowercase r, both uppercase and lowercase s. Same for the letter T. And again, we really ended it here, but this is our kind of like final spot before we start connecting it to another letter. And same with the lowercase t. Lowercase u, both uppercase and lowercase h, both uppercase and lowercase c, sh, sha, sha, and then the letter u, and both letters ya. So as you can see, it's quite a big group. So and basically whatever is not here is going to be in this group. And as I said, some of the letters here are kind of here by approximation, and I will show you what I mean. So let's take a look. So here in group A, they ended here. And in group 2, so in group 1, I'm sorry, they ended. So in group 1, they ended here. And in group 2, they're going to end right here. Let's take a look. So the first letter is the letter B. So for connections, it ended right here, and that's where we basically will start connecting to the next letter. So here is the letter B, and again, it ends right here. But to connect something, we basically will move our pen right to this spot and start connecting it. So as I said, by approximation, some of them are here. Next one, both letters V. The capital G, capital letter D. So and again, it ends here, but we will basically go back to like this spot to start connecting it. Uppercase Z, uppercase O, and we'll basically just move it here. O, letter R, capital letter R, capital U, capital F, твердый знак, мягкий знак, both letters E, and both letters U. Okay, now let's take a look at connections. So if we need to connect letters that end in E1 category, so right here, to the letter in S1 category, so the one that starts right here, we're gonna have this kind of like slight curve up till we reach a spot, and from that spot we drop down. Yeah, so that's how the connection will look like. Let's take a look. Let's connect the letter A and P. Okay, so we'll have A ending right here, and we need to reach right here where the letter P starts. So when we're writing A, we'll just basically continue to this point, and from that point we just drop, and then start writing our letter. Okay, or E. Same here, we went there and we dropped down. Let's connect E and R. We ended E, we go up, and then we drop down to write the R. How about M and U? So here we have M, it ended here, and we go up and we drop down to write the U. How about we connect S and soft sign? S goes up, drops down, and then we write the soft sign. How about we write some words? So here, let's write the word mir. That will connect the letter M with E, and the next letter will be R, and E again ends here. So we'll see the connection, same connection twice. So we have M ending here, goes up, drops down for E. E ends here, goes up, and drops down for R. And how about, and the word mir means peace. And let's write the word peaceful, which is mirny, which will have all letters connect in that manner. So here we have our mi, r, n, u, mirny. So all of the connections starting from the first one are going to be of this type. Next connection is between end 1 and start 2. So here that's the easiest connection because the letters end here and start just a little bit farther down. So the connection will basically look like this. That's very, very easy. Let's connect like A and let's say G. So here we have A ends right here, and we basically need to connect it to G that starts right here. So we just like keep going, and then we write the letter. Same thing, we just keep going. Maybe let's try one of the capital letters. Let's try L and yeah. Yeah, so here we just connected these letters. How about U? Let's connect it to the J. Okay, let's write some words. Let's write the word lev. So here we have two connections of the same type where we connect L to Ye and Ye to V. That just keeps going. Another one, let's write Уже. Yeah, so that's an easy connection. And Lev means lion in Russian, and Уже means already. So the next connection is I'd say pretty cute. And it really looks like stretched out letter L. So it goes like this. Like we really, really need to have this peak in there. So here we have letters that end here. So let's write A. That's where it ended. And then we need to start the next letter in the same spot. So this same spot becomes the beginning. Al or So we really, really, it's one of the most common mistakes not to have this little kind of like connection right here. And letters start kind of like flowing one into each other. So let's connect letter S and letter M. And let's connect, again, let's do S and ya. Yeah, because a lot of verbs and then ya. So we do need to know how to write it. So again, this little thing is one of the most common mistakes in Russian cursive writing, and it's really, really easy to avoid it. Let's have some words here. Let's have the word ел, which is past tense for eating. He ate. And the word имя. Here they have two connections like that. We connected E to M and M to ya. Okay, our next connection is E1 to S4. And it kind of looks like candy cane that is like on an angle. That happens because here we have a letter that ends here and another one that starts kind of on the other side. But as you can see, all of them are rounded. So we basically are going to do this round kind of like curve before we start writing the letter again. Let's take a look. Let's write D and A. And of course, that means yes in Russian. So here we're writing D, and that's where it ended. And our A starts right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically curve it here, and then we'll write our A. Da. Or ma. Or so. Do. Okay, let's try some words. Try the word sad, which means garden. And let's try code, which means like code, like, you know, that you'd enter like code, bim, 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 534. Oh, then the word god will fall in the same category. And let's do one more. Moda, which means fashion. And god means year, and moda means fashion. Okay, now let's move on to connecting letters in group E2 to all of the start groups. To connect the E2 letter to S1 letter, we basically need to understand that we're starting it right here. And again, as you can see, all of forms are rounded. So again, like we had that candy cane here, we'll have it here too, but the other way. And then we have to do the same thing as we did here of dropping it down. So we reach that point and then we drop down. Okay, let's take a look. So let's write, connect letter V and the letter E. So we're writing V, that's it, we stopped. And then we basically are tracing that same form. And then we reach this point and that's when we drop it. Yeah? So we trace it, go up and drop it. But we connect the U with the letter N. So there you go. Or O to N. So this way we're gonna have letter, actually the word on, which means he. And as you can see, I'm kind of like tracing it a lot. Once you get used to writing fast, you will probably be starting O right here, and it's just easier so. But when you're just practicing and you want to really nail these connections, I suggest going kind of like this, tracing, this extra tracing step. Okay, let's try some words. So here we'll write the word wheat. So here we ended B here, and we basically go back to this spot and we trace it and we drop it. B. How about we'll do V. V. And we'll do this V too. V. There you go. Okay, our next connection is again pretty simple. So we'll still have to have this kind of like curve here. But again, it will just be like flowing into the start of this letter. Again, it should be pretty easy. So let's connect O and Y, because that's a lot of endings are like that. So we're writing our O and we're tracing it to this one. Yeah, so we'll just basically trace it and go this. Yeah. O, yeah. Let's try O, G. O, G. Let's connect the letter R with a Y. Here are R, and we go back and we do this curve, and we just continue until we can write the letter R. Okay, let's write the word уже, which means already, but this time with a capital U. So that's where we end it, and we trace it back into the Ж. Уже. And how about the word yuk? We'll connect the letter U to the G, which means south. So we stop here, we trace it back, and we go into G. There you go. So our next connection is with L, M, and Ya. And as you can see, the first two started with kind of like this candy cane hook, and that's pretty much what we're gonna have here too. We're gonna have this tracing back and then going into this hook. So let's take a look. Let's connect the letter V and L. So here is our V. We trace it back, we stop, and we get this hook down. V, L. Let's connect O and Ya. O, Ya. How about U and L? U, we trace it, and then we get this little hook. Okay, let's try some words. Let's try the word для. So D with a capital D, which means for. So we stop here, then we go back, we trace the curve till this point, and then we connect it. Same here. Another one, let's try the word Again, capital letter. So we have U, and we trace it back to start Okay, and our final connection is between E2 and S4. So as you can see, they start on the opposite kind of like ends of our schematic letters, which means we'll have two of these hooks. So we'll have to trace the curve here, and we'll trace the curve here. Okay, let's practice. Let's connect B and A. So we have B, we go back, we trace the curve, we trace the curve, and here we have our B. Let's try V, O, V, we trace the curve, we trace the curve, we write the letter. V. Let's try G, O. Go back, we trace the curve, we trace the curve. There we go. So let's write some words here. So as you can see, the word God, we pretty much wrote it. So let's try it again. Trace O. And we trace for the God. That means year. And then years means года. And actually, the word вода will also fall into this category. So we have V, O, D, A. Вода. All right, I hope you found it useful. So keep practicing the Russian cursive. And again, if these connections are too tricky, if there's just a lot to memorize, remember, all you need to do is to not connect them, just write them close together, and that's it. And that's going to be my next video about cursive variations. I will show you how it's done, and I'm going to link it here at the end of this video. Okay, thank you so much. До свидания. Пока-пока.